While the entire planet is going crazy with the current threat of COVID-19, I decided to do something a little light-hearted to take my mind off the disaster that is currently going on, and that was pay a little bit of attention to my 104 project. One thing that does annoy me with this cylinder head was the people that rebuilt it went ahead and installed a plug inside that auxiliary air pump hole without even asking me. Removing it did scratch it, but what can you do? I want it to be there, and it has to be there for the first registration. So let's go ahead and get these ceramic coated exhaust manifolds installed. Note these are the update version exhaust manifold gaskets. They are asbestos free and they're basically solid metal. That's what you get these days. So all three tubes on each manifold fed from one gasket basically. It's a lot easier to install. These obviously are not the factory nuts that have been put on here. The original ones are like copper and they don't really back off very easily. These are just what the machine shop provided when they rebuilt my cylinder head. I'm happy with them on the other car, but because they don't lock themselves to the studs, you may periodically have to retighten them. I have had one fall off on my blue-black car, but it's only happened once. I tightened it and it hasn't happened again. It's easy to identify the rear manifold because it has the position where the EGR valve would be. In Australia we never had EGR on 104s, so these are good manifolds if you're interested in deleting it because the hole's not even there. It's not even in the casting. I did quickly change my mind about installing these nuts with no washers and rectified that later. On the front manifold we have the heat shield for the protection of the auxiliary air pump. We don't want to install that yet because that obstructs some of the nuts that hold the manifold on. So we can go ahead and, in preparation, remove the bolts for it. They were just placed back in the manifold for safekeeping because I have a habit of losing everything. And those two holes are the nuts that I was talking about that would be obstructed by this plate being installed. As mentioned previously, I did change my mind about fitting these serrated nuts without the washers. I didn't want to go ahead and destroy that ceramic coating because that's what would happen just by tightening them up. So unfortunately I went ahead and reinstalled these ugly, rusty, old washers that were original to the car. They do the job and they're not too obvious once the nuts are installed, so I'm still happy. And at least my ceramic coating is not getting destroyed. Although no official figure exists for the torque of the manifold nuts, I decided that 25 Newton meters was a round number, and that's what I torqued them up to. The ones that I could access with the ratchet anyway. The others, I relied on muscle memory basically to feel pretty much the same as these. You get a feel for these things, and I think it's pretty accurate given the circumstances because there's no way to fit a ratchet in there anyway. So I'm happy with the result of the tightening of these manifolds. After that was complete, I could go ahead and install that heat shield on the bottom of the front exhaust manifold. I did use my torque wrench on that. I decided that 8 Newton meters was a satisfactory number for such small bolts. It's probably 6 or 8 officially, but 8 is fine. It didn't feel like it was going to snap them. When installing the pipe for the auxiliary air pump, don't forget to install the new O-ring that comes with the cylinder head gasket kit, particular for the 104-980 anyway. So that gets fed up from below once you've got the manifold installed. Then you guide it through that hole to where it needs to go, and then you can safely bolt it in place. If you're wondering what that muck is on the end of the bolt, it is just anti-seize. I just want to be able to remove this easily in future for service work, if I decide to anyway. I may actually completely delete the auxiliary air pump once the car is registered, because the catalytic converter does not work anyway. It's basically there for decoration and it's not achieving anything. So that is the final result for today. I'm damn happy with that appearance. I couldn't have asked for better. It looks like a piece of jewellery now. But that's all there is for today. That's the end of my escape from the current situation that is affecting everybody's life out there. I will admit that it has given me an anxiety problem, and that's probably contributing to the reason why I'm not spending a lot of time on my 124 at the moment. Kind of concerned with keeping my job, etc. It is what it is. I'm taking it one day at a time.